Network. And today's topic is reset. And uh, I've been away for a week and got a reset. So I thought it was a great topic to talk about today. And before we get started, let's just take a minute or two to settle in and get present. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen just flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your organs and every cell of your body. And as you exhale, exhale any negativity, any toxins, any stress. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And this time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, electrifying and energizing all your organs, all your cells, all your molecules, all your electrons. And as you exhale, exhale any stress, tension, or toxicity. And now let's just gently press our palms together, really softly rub your fingers against your palms. Feel that tickling and the tingling and the deliciousness of that, and allow yourselves to become present to your body right here, right now. Good morning, Dido. Hi. It's been a while. It's been a week. And I did a road trip to Texas, and it was a 21-hour drive plus each way, and stopped in Knoxville on my way there. And I have a new addition to my family, a wonderful little conure bird who I'm sure you'll get to meet, just not yet because she and my cat haven't quite figured things out yet. And I'm afraid to have her loose while on the air here where I couldn't mitigate any issues. Anyway, so today is talking about a reset, and what I think so many of us need in the new year is a great opportunity to take advantage of it. Is a little bit of a break from the routine. What I realized was, having been sheltered in place for so long, that I really missed seeing nature, seeing the skies, seeing the trees, seeing just landscape and clouds, and because I haven't really spent a whole lot of time outside. So, good morning, Irma. Hi, so glad to have you here. We're talking about a reset and how a break in routine can really enable you to come back to things with a freshness and a newness to um, to be able to embrace things from a different perspective, a renewed place of vision. And although I wouldn't say that this reset for me was a rest, it was kind of a marathon with so much driving and newness. And um, I am getting still to do a reset while I'm back here, and uh, being able to allow myself to catch up on some rest and some self care, and I think overall renewal. So maybe even more than reset, what I'm talking about here is renewal. And you might not have the opportunity to go on a road trip, but there are things that we can do to allow ourselves to uh, gain a new perspective, gain some uh, new blood. Let's call it new blood, where we can gain a different vantage point on our lives and our circumstances, and come to things fresh with more enthusiasm and hopefully even some delight. Um, I want to talk. I was debating on whether I was going to talk about reset or grace today, and reset one, but I want to speak about grace too. And and the expectations, because this trip was one where I set the intention ahead of time to allow it to be easy, and to allow it to unfold as as just to flow with it, to flow with its unfoldment. And there was such and I think this actually ties into the reset thing too, because by declaring that intention and really opening the space inside myself to allow things to be easy, uh, that was in and of itself a reset, to just take things as they came, to be in a space of trusting that it was all going to be perfect. And it was remarkable. I had meetings scheduled, or had hoped for a meeting now, and at some point it looked like it might not happen, and if it did happen, it wouldn't have the people there available to, that all the people that I was hoping to meet. And I had no attachment to it. And this is a gift. This is something that is such a gift to oneself, to allow things to unfold in their perfection, and to flow with things in the direction that they are unfolding. And as it turned out, I got to meet the people I wanted to meet, and even I had a bonus on top of that. And I had lovely encounters with people, and the drive itself was very easy, surprisingly. And it was just a a practice of non-attachment and grace. Like when I was driving, it wasn't like I got to get there, I got to get there. It was being present in the drive. When I had interactions with people, I didn't go in with a particular agenda, just allowed things to unfold. And I'll tell you that what happens when we give ourselves that gift of being present without attachment to outcomes, what's remarkable is the ease with which we can flow through the circumstances, even if they're challenging circumstances. So there was one point in the drive when it was raining, it was torrential rain, and I thought I might have to pull over. And then the rain lifted. So I mean, it was amazing. So just being present to it and allowing it to flow, the stress levels get lowered, the appreciation for beauty is heightened, and just overall appreciation for life is enriched. And so I guess the question is, how do we do that? What is the mechanics of this reset that allows us to get present to allowing things to unfold? And one of the things that I noticed in uh, while I was driving, and when I would notice tension, or I would notice that there was a moment coming in of that felt more stressful, what I noticed was that if I started paying attention to my body, I noticed that my shoulders were hunched up, or my neck was tight, or I noticed that there was physical tension in my body. And as I was able to go into that sensation, and I was then able to relax and release that tension. And with that release, I was able also to release whatever the fixation was on, where I was going, or what my agenda was. And I also found that when we release attachment to outcomes, that the thinking slows. Not in terms of not being able to grasp things, but what I mean is the overthinking and the internal dialogue and the all the internal conversations is just when I noticed a conversation coming about an expectation, or that I was generating tension for myself, I just would slow that conversation and I would stop and allow myself to just be where I was, to look around and see the scenery more, to be present to the feelings in my body, um, to gentle my thoughts. And this is something I think for all of us to learn and benefit from ongoingly, is the gentleness that comes with presence. Because I think in some in some way, the opposite of gentleness is resistance. Rather than harshness, I mean resistance. So by not resisting what arises, we allow ourselves to be able to be responsive to it, and um, to flow with it, to move with and respond to the needs of the moment. And um, we talk about this a lot, but having the opportunity to really experience it in action and to practice it was so cool. And to recognize, and I just recognized it now, like to recognize the tension that was building in my shoulders, and to just allow that to relax, to allow myself to sink into the chair, for instance. And I invite you to try this, to just be alert to where you're holding tension in your body and allow that to relax. And as you allow that to relax, the frenzy of perpetual thought can relax somewhat. And you can also go at it from the other end, where you can relax the frenzy of perpetual thought first. And how we can do that is by affirming that everything is unfolding perfectly, even though I might not understand it, that everything is unfolding as intended. And even though it might not be my intention necessarily, so or my conscious intention. And so also recognizing that in every challenge is a gift, and therefore we can receive those challenges more graciously and gratefully. And I think another thing that we talk about, and we've talked about together, is that in every breakdown, there are rich gifts of breakthroughs, that's just a function of the learning events in our lives. So all of these things we can bring together and create a reset for ourselves. Like, a reset doesn't have to be a massive road trip, for instance. It could be something as simple as letting your shoulders relax, and coming back to the notion of allowing life to happen for you and through you rather than to you. And so when we do that, when we create these micro resets and these macro resets, we grant ourselves a gift of greater calm, greater ease, probably greater health overall, because we know how stress can impact our well-being, and greater responsiveness, and also the gift of more authentic communication with others and with ourselves. So when we're in the midst of a routine that starts to wear on us, even if it seems counterintuitive, sometimes it's best to step away and give yourself the gift of a reset. Step away and give yourself some you time to recharge, revitalize, reinvigorate. And then when you come back to the task or the routine, then there will be a different perspective, and you'll be more connected to yourself and consequently, subsequently, to others. Good morning, Tammy. Great to see you here. We're talking about a reset, and this is after a week off for me that was very needed, and I'm really delighted to be back here with all of you, and so grateful to be sharing this time. So we're talking about reset and how when we give ourselves that kind of reset, and it can be, like we said, macro or micro. A micro reset can be something as simple as hearing a thought that's maybe not the most positive thought in our minds, and then thank you, Dido. I'm happy I'm back too. Thank you. The reset in our minds to just shift the conversation, shift the internal dialogue. So if we hear ourselves giving ourselves negative messages and speaking harshly to ourselves, and we recognize that, then we can create a reset by saying, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to be brutalizing you that way. How are you? Or you're doing great. And I know you're trying, or I know you're going through a tough time. Let's look at how we can make this easier and more gentle. I mean, we can change our internal conversation, and that is a powerful, powerful reset. And in neurolinguistic programming, NLP, there is a technique called a reframe. And reframing is life altering, because what you're doing with that reframe is you're creating a new context for the interpretation of experience. So, for example, I have a friend who was talking about what a disaster COVID has been for them. And they actually had a family member who was very ill during COVID, and they had the opportunity, because of COVID, to spend a wonderful amount of quality time with this family member who subsequently died. And so the gift, that instead of COVID being a nightmare, COVID became a gift that granted these people the time to share intimately and lovingly with one another. before one of them passed. And so that's a reframe, and that's a reframe that is an empowering reframe, because rather than something that was an oppressive curse that was disempowering, what the person experienced was the gift of it, and truly, in a very, very deep way, the blessing to have had the opportunity to spend that time with their loved one. And so I know that there are many challenges and difficulties and hardships that COVID has created for many, many people. And even with those challenges and hardships, there are gifts. And so reframe, reset, when we think of I have to say I'm still punchy, so my brain is kind of operating at 3/4 speed, maybe. That might be generous, actually. I'm just trying to think of other situations. So, sorry, can't access it right now. But maybe you have a situation that you've been able to reframe. So so here's one. I have a friend who was applying for a grant, and really got very, very engaged in that process, and then discovered after submitting that they did not receive the grant, and they were heartbroken. And the reframe was that the process of applying was a rich process of self-discovery, and that wasn't the only grant, but that the application process for that grant set this person up to be able to apply for other grants. So there are more opportunities on the horizon. So even though that grant wasn't achieved, it rather than being an end point and feeling like it made no sense, or feeling hopeless around that situation, instead of that, it was like, oh, okay, now I have the tools to be able to move forward with these other opportunities, and I don't know what's going to be around the corner. So that it wasn't as obvious a reframe, but it reframed the disappointment of not being able to get this one grant, and feeling like a failure, and that there wasn't an opportunity to apply for others, to feeling triumphant for having experienced the self-discovery process, and to have the tools to apply for other grants. And in the context of manifesting, the understanding for this person was they didn't get the grant. What's wrong? Are they doing something wrong with manifesting? And the thing about manifesting is that it was the intention, by focusing the intention of receiving support, financial support, that it doesn't have to be this particular grant or that one, but that with each writing of or applying to a new grant, it was reinforcing the intention of receiving that support. And so there's the reframe. And rather than having it be futile, having it reaffirming the intention. So reframe, reset. And I think what we get to do in life is continually do these resets for ourselves. that we're continually course correcting, just like a ship or a plane that is going a little off course, coming back, going a little off course, coming back, course correcting over and over. And that's what this reset and reframe is. And when we, I like the idea of intentions rather than goals, because when we have an intention, there, it feels to me, and this is maybe just my subjective experience, but it feels to me like there's more leeway to make course corrections than when we have a goal, because goals are time bound, and you either make that goal or you don't make that goal. And what happens is that the focus becomes on that goal rather than on the intention is going, in my experience, is going from the inside out. The goal is kind of going from the outside in, where I'm trying to achieve this outside objective rather than being moved from an inner inspiration or guidance. So, what do you think of this idea about reset and reframe? And where is there a place in your thinking right now, or in your environment, or in your routine, that you can introduce a reset? Where's a place that you can just even make the slightest little recalibration to shift your experience little by little? So I know that many of us are intimidated by change or something new, and even something good that's new can be uncomfortable. Like if you've ever learned to do something like paint, or Tammy says, need to reset daily. Laugh out loud. I love this idea. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you. I'm glad. And hi, Isabel. Welcome. So good to have you here. So, what are these little calibrations? Oh, I was talking about if you've ever learned a new skill, particularly as an adult, you know that there are lots of corrections, or lots of adjustments, or lots of uh, moderations. Like if you're learning to paint, or you're learning to play the piano, or you're learning a new language, or you're learning a new thing about cooking or whatever, that you get some feedback. And I'm going to say that breakdowns and mistakes and all of that is feedback. You get feedback, and then you get to make adjustments, and those adjustments can be little by little. They don't have to be night and day. They can be, but they can be moderate tweaks to something to fine tune it so that it works better for you. Isabel says, in all aspects of my life, I would do reset with work first. So there could be, maybe the reset is to get a new job. I don't know, that may be, or new work. But in the meantime, maybe a reset is the way that you think about work. And that's a start, is, well, what are my expectations? If I think about work and think, oh, I'm going into work today, it's going to be terrible, it's going to be boring, it's going to be just maddening, then look at how we're programming our day, right? Instead, a reset might be, I'm going to go into work today and learn something new. I'm going to go into work today. This is my intention. I'm going to go into work today and gain a new perspective on something. Dido says, I love how you set me up with a breakthrough log so that I get to focus on even small learnings and breakthroughs, sometimes after breakdowns. Dido, I'm so thrilled that you mentioned that, and I hope that you're still keeping that log. So this is a really, really powerful thing to do for yourself, because typically we focus on our failures, right? We think we haven't done anything. In fact, I've had a lot of clients tell me on occasion, I didn't do anything today. I said, really? You didn't do anything today? Well, what, how did you use your time? Well, I read a book, I took a walk, I took a bath, I wrote a letter to a friend, you know, all these different things. Hello, Lefty. Lefty's Right Witch. That's a great name. Welcome. Great to have you here. Good morning. So good to see you too. Thanks for the compliment on the topic. Great topic. So I'm trying now. I lost my train of thought. I was taken by surprise by Lefty's Right Witch name. So taxed my already exhausted brain, I think. But oh, we were talking about making. Good morning, Andrea. Welcome. So good to have you here. This is like Gold Home Week. I really am delighted to be back with all of you after a week away. But so we were talking about being able to make these calibration adjustments, and how we, in our internal conversation, often create a mood and a environment that we get to reset by changing the internal conversation. So uh, for instance, let's see, Tammy says, oh, thank you, Tammy. Tammy reminded me. So I was saying that this person did nothing but walk, take a bath, write a letter. Hi, Lauren, welcome. Great to have you here. And so I said, well, it sounds to me like you had a wonderful day of self-care and ease. That's not nothing. And why is it that we count the things that we do for ourselves as nothing? Right? Or let's say we and this is going to sound really stereotypically domestic, but sometimes like I'll feel like I did nothing, and then I think, oh, but I cleaned my apartment, I did my laundry, I neatened things up, and now I have an environment that feels really good. That's not nothing, right? So the things that we do for self-care, the things that we allow ourselves to give ourselves the space for, that counts. That's not nothing. And Lefty says, it's Christina, too much negativity on Facebook, so avoiding it. Gotcha. Thank you, Christina. Welcome to you. And yeah, Lauren, it has been a while. Welcome back. So yeah, let's look at the breakthrough log is a really good thing to do. It might even be, for instance, for the person who walked and took a bath, wrote a letter, did some reading, that might have been a breakthrough, because those were all self-nurturing things for somebody that maybe never took the time for themselves. So that counts as a breakthrough. And when you write your breakthroughs, you really get to see all these wonderful awarenesses and experiences, and you get to give yourself credit for the goodness. Because like I said earlier, so often we just put our focus on the things that we didn't do right, or the things that are negative, or the things where we're less than happy with ourselves, for instance. So really, I invite you to write a breakthrough journal. You could write a breakdown journal too, because the breakdowns are the seeds of breakthrough. And I invite you actually to do a breakthrough journal and write down at least one breakthrough every day. Even if you have to think and kind of go through your day and think about your day, maybe just in the thinking of it, that's where you'll have your breakthrough. So I invite you to do that as well. And with that, I am going to say that's a wrap for today. And I really love being here with you. Um, it's really a gift, and I'm so grateful that you all chime in and we get to have this conversation and share this time together. So um, I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I go live every weekday morning on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page at 9 a.m. Eastern. And I hope to see you all here again soon. And in the meantime, check out the Enlightened World Network and all the great programming and wonderful community there. So much love to you. And I hope to see you back here again really soon.